Okay. Sound okay down the back?
Yeah.
Good? Okay, I'll project.
This is okay here as well? Yeah.
Yeah? Good.
Perfecto.
It's a good sense of anticipation. Are you feeling it?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
It's just flattening. All the people, all their energies is just flattening. Like a flock, everybody starts to just
Settle.
settle and move together. It's a lovely sound. Because it's not loud. It's a lovely sound. It's not performative. This isn't performative. There's no methodology here. That's done. There's no methodology. This is for everybody here. It's for you that came here this evening. It's not. It's for you. It only matters when it only makes sense, it only becomes functional when it's for you. That you get what's going on here. That you listen and feel and understand a little bit of where we're pointing. Because whether you believe what's being said or not, it can take you on a different type of journey. Just listen. The beauty, it's overwhelming, the beauty. You mightn't be able to hear it yet, but it's all over this room and it's coming through you. One of the best things to do tonight is to disbelieve a lot that's said. Question everything. Call it out. Say that it's horseshit. I don't believe you. And find out about it. Because when you start to get a sense of what you are, you'll start to lose interest in who you've taken yourself to be. When you lose interest in who you've taken yourself to be, this starts to get good. Real good. Real good. Yeah. You lot are lit. You lot are lit. You're ready. You're kind of primed for it. It's good. It's good.
So Tommy, let's do the intro you were talking about, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You want to do it?
Okay.
You set the stage there and then I'll get into the questions, yeah?
So, just to think about this, just to contemplate this a little bit, that computer games in the 80s, Pac-Man, Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, there's a few faces in here now will remember those games. So you remember Pac-Man, okay? You remember the graphics, you remember the crude graphics with Pac-Man. If we see that game, if we see those graphics on a screen, that's taken to be Pac-Man, okay? That's how it seems to be. That's how you play that game. It's got a rule set in that game. But in the computer, there's zeros and ones, and there's switches, and there's volumetric control. There's all sorts of stuff going on in there that you know nothing about. Is that agreed? There's Pac-Man, we're playing Pac-Man, And then there's ones and zeros, bits and bytes, all sorts of things going on under the hood that you know nothing about. So if we take a printout of what's going on under the hood, and we take a printout of Pac-Man, and we put those two things beside each other, what's going on under the hood and what's going on the screen are the same thing. Okay? You get the zeros and ones that make the Pac-Man Pac-Man. You get Pac-Man, they're the same thing. Everybody's with that? Some of you look a little, everybody's with that? Okay. Code, you're thinking in code? Okay. The code that makes up Pac-Man, Grand Theft Auto, they're inextricably connected. The wave and the ocean are inextricably connected. But when you're surfing, you're not concerned with ocean. When you're surfing, you're concerned with wave. So, in this idea, you have your body and you have your personality structure. You've got seeing, feeling, tasting, touching, hearing, smelling. They're called sense perceptions. Right? Everybody gets that? Everybody's got a certain amount of those sense perceptions. There's a cockroach in Peru with 18 sense perceptions. We don't know what he's sensing. He's sensing something more than what we're sensing. So you've got seeing, feeling, tasting, touching, hearing. Everybody's agreed with that? That's all good in the hood? Okay. Those sense perceptions are you plugged into this hologram, plugged into this reality. So this reality is experienced. Now it's deemed to be your seeing, your feeling, tasting, touching, hearing. You got sense perceptions, you're plugged into the hologram. Your experience is adjudicated through those sense perceptions. Yeah? And it's Jessica's seeing, or it's Matt's tasting or feeling. Now it's yours. Now it's Matt is seeing. Rachel is feeling. That's how it goes. That makes sense? It's me. It's my experience. I'm having my experience. What we're pointing to is when you wake up in the morning and you start to switch on the seeing, feeling, tasting, touching, hearing, and Jill turns on or Debbie turns on, when this machine turns on in the morning, it's taken to be so. It's taken to be true. It's not. It's seemingly so. It's seemingly so. That's like Pac-Man running around going, I'm Pac-Man and I need to eat those things. Now there's a lot more going on underneath the hood. You get it? You wake up in the morning. You take yourself to be Jessica. She's an accountant. She's depressed. She's this, she's this. This whole story all wakes up. When Jessica wakes up, light turns down. When Jessica wakes up, God turns off. God goes asleep, wakes up as Jessica, and is in the experience. It's taken to be fundamental. This is. This isn't fundamental, what we're in, because Jessica's never been found. There's no Jessica. There's no Jessica. Now, I don't know what you're going to do about that. I don't care what you think about it. Don't care how you feel about it. Because when it's investigated, we can't find Jessica. There's no Jessica. Now, if you're Jessica, that could be frightening or it could be a big relief. Tommy? No Tommy? Big relief. Big fucking relief. Really nice. Some relief. From what? All the seeing, feeling, tasting, touching, hearing, and history that's laid out in a so-called Tommy. But it was called into question. It was called into question. And when it was called into question, it was seen to be not so. It was seemingly so. It's seemingly so. Tommy was born. Tommy's gonna die. Nuh-uh. The biggest problem that you may or may not have is you're forever. Now, forever is not an aspect of time, but it's something that you're going to have to deal with. There's no death. That's never happened. That's a ruse. When you're playing a computer game and the character dies, does it seem to you like No, it goes again with a different avatar. That's what it does. Now, you've forgotten that you're light and information. You've woke up as Jessica and think, I'm Jessica. The forgetter veils in this place are helping you immerse yourself in the lie that you've got a big problem. When you get on the right side of the lie, you'll start to feel free. When you get on the right side of the lie, and by the way, the only one that's the arbiter of the lie is you to you in the morning. By the time you get from the bed to the kettle, you've lied 1,000,000 times about what's going wrong. The thoughts are leading to the feelings. The feelings are creating more thoughts. You're now like a Wi-Fi router that's broadcasting your problems. With me? Jessica is broadcasting her problems. By the time she gets to the kettle and she thinks to herself, let me stick up a Ukrainian flag down there on that Facebook group. That's the stance I'm taking. Now Jessica's difficulty between the bed and the kettle is now getting posted on Facebook, and she's wondering why she doesn't feel good. I can tell you, you ain't Jessica. Now that's going to take a while to get, but when it's investigated properly and honestly, high energy physicists, whatever way you want to cut it up and serve it, they can't find this thing. This thing can't be found. What we're in right now can't be found. Yes, it can be found, Tommy, I'm touching the chair. You've never touched anything. Nothing has never touched nothing because it is de facto nothing. It's not touching. The atoms, just because my sense perception feels this chair, it's not so. It's seemingly so. Now, if you have a lot of anxiety, you're going to be thinking, he's full of shit right now. That's what you're going to be thinking. But it doesn't change the fact. It's not going to change the fact. And when you start to think about reality, which is blown into this place from a very, very different location, you'll see that this is holographic in nature. It's way, way more like Pac-Man or a Grand Theft Auto, or it's way more, it's like a movie. So a near-death experiencer will pop out of their body, and what will they be shown? A movie. So guess what we're in here? It's a little movie. And when you get on the right side of how you think and how you feel, the movie changes. It gets much, much better, much, much easier. So there's a solution. There's a solution to the difficulty you've been having. There is a solution to the difficulty you've been having. You're not going to like the answer because it's going to end Jessica, and Jessica doesn't want to end. And she's full of shit. Right? That's why she doesn't want to end. She wants to keep on keeping on. Well, if you want to keep on keeping on as Jessica, this isn't going to go anywhere for you. You have to start to see this thing. If you think, okay, let's see what this fella's talking about. Let me go and find Karen. Karen, Jonathan, Patrick, Paulie, Tommy, you won't find them. You won't find them. If the high energy physicists can't find the floor, they ain't finding Karen. But that's where the freedom is. The freedom is, you're never, ever, ever going to get freedom as Jessica. She's the producer of the problem. All freedom comes from, it's from Jessica. It's not as Jessica. So if you think that coming here to this event, you're going to get something as Jessica, good luck, because it won't get any better. You have to start to see this. Think about this. Think about, maybe I'm not Tommy. Maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm something else. When the something else starts to get in and it takes over, watch what happens to your life. It's more loving, it's kinder, it's more wholesome, it's a higher frequency. We know the pattern, we know how it works. We know how to wean you off the addiction of all addictions, which is the addiction to your personality. It's the addiction to your perspective that you're right and everyone else is wrong. We can wean you off you. That's what we do. And when you're weaned off you, what you'll start to do is serve. It's service. You'll start to give, because your day won't be all about you, trying to deal with Vladimir whoever. You know what I mean? It won't be about you. And your selfishness and your self-centeredness and your all about me-ness, it'll be about something else. Yeah. So in this room right now, there's a lot of opportunities for light to come into this place through high frequency oxytocin, endothelium, the nitrics up the top end, to come in through this place as what it is, as what you are, light and information, rather than being in the lower part of your body, winding people up all day. Do you know what I mean? Do you get where we're going? You mightn't like it, your body's not going to like it. If there's somebody in the room called Jessica, forgive me. So I just wanted to say that just as a kind of a, so I don't, you can call me Tommy all day, I'm never going to believe it. I'll use it as a point of reference. Fine, hey Tommy, how's it going? Yeah, cool, great, fine, whatever. That's it, but that's as far as it goes. He's been in the rear view mirror as a what's not happening for quite some time. Does that make sense? Is that clear as a kind of a starting off place? Okay, clear enough.
Good place to start, yeah?
Yeah. Does that make sense to you, Paulie?
Oh yeah, it makes sense to me, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm not Karen and I'm not Jessica.
Yeah. Look at you.
Yeah.
There's a few fellas that call themselves Karen and Jessica these days, I've noticed.
I know, yeah. So, yeah, let's welcome Tommy Ellis. Yeah, great to have him. If you believe he's Tommy Ellis, which he's not, right? There's no one here right now. So Tommy's an old pal of mine, and we go back a long, long way. This has now morphed into what we call Positive Nights, and it used to be called the Buddha Bag. And Tommy used to rock into the Buddha Bag every so often, and he'd have a head on him, like you wouldn't believe. He had opinions about things. And we'd always have a post-mortem on a Friday. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. About the events. And it's just great to kind of welcome him back here tonight with the work that he's been doing and where he's at, you know. And I wanted to get stuck in and kind of see where we go. It's funny when you do things like this, you kind of run out of questions because we're all discovering so much in ourselves lately, you know. That when you sit with it, you kind of go, I get it, you know. And you kind of have to unget it to explore it, you know. So that's what we're going to do now. And how you set the stage there, what I wanted to ask you first off was, you know, you had quite a personality back in the day, right? It was a big situation.
It was believed, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll notice that every problem I ever had, Tommy was there. Just think about that. Every problem I ever had, Tommy was there. But I was blaming her. And I was blaming him. And I was blaming this. And I was blaming that. But this Tommy thing kept on showing up in every single problem. But Tommy never got questioned. Never got questioned. It's everybody else. No. It was this epiphenomenon, which is an activity in the body and not so. When it was dissolved, the problems didn't show up because the reactions didn't show up. Does that make sense? It's a good track to check out. It gets interesting. And in 2017, that's when it collapsed for me completely. Like it totally collapsed in 2017. Do you know that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, so tell me.
So 2017 is when I saw very clearly that Tommy went into the warehouse unconsciously with the petrol can, red petrol can, poured all the petrol, stepped outside, fired that bitch up, boomed, started to burn the warehouse down, went home, stuck on a fireman's helmet, got on a fire truck, went to the warehouse and started putting it out. That's what I saw. All the problems I was starting, I was trying to then go for a solution. Another therapist, another modality, another little sip of ayahuasca, another one, another psychedelic, another Tommy goes here to get relief. From what? Stop pouring the petrol. Stop pouring the petrol. Or at least question who's pouring the petrol. Oh no, I've got some real shit going on. You've no idea. So I need to go to, well, cellular memory healing, that's gonna do it. No, hang on, holotropic breathwork. That's gonna definitely do it. Because I'm gonna breathe a little bit deeper and a little bit faster. As who? As who? The fire starter. That's who was going to the breath work. That's who was going to drink the ayahuasca. That's who was taking the mushroom. That's who was never getting questioned, always looking for relief. Then it was seen and it collapsed. Took about a couple of hours to collapse and the whole thing came down. The whole thing came down. And I saw it and I was like, you are what you've been looking for. You are where you've been looking from. That's it. You're the latent information that's prior to the problem. Sit there. What happens is very, very interesting. You'll be placed, you'll be moved, you'll be shook, and you'll be shown. That's what will happen. Does that make sense? Yeah.
So that came to you like a visual kind of a vibe in a meditation or just in daily life?
It just came, I didn't produce it. It just hit really hard. It was very, very difficult. Very difficult.
Difficult?
Yeah, really hard to see it.
And did it just turn around right from then, or did you fight that for a while? That realization?
No, there was no reverse gear after that.
Okay.
When I saw it like it just, the house of cards collapsed down and then it's been unpacking in various different ways ever since. But everything started to get really a lot better. As an experience in a life, it got a lot better. But I never believed the rhetoric. I never believed the kind of inner Kim Jong-un that was constantly bringing a problem. Here's that thought coming around. That thought flicks the peptide in your brain, goes down. Now you're feeling shit like you've always felt shit, and there it is. You're back doing as the Romans do, playing the game in this place. But I started to catch the thought. Oh, there's Tommy. And I went, hey, fuck off. And it wasn't nurturing. It was, hey, jog on. I'm not doing it. So what am I not doing? I'm not allowing that thought. That's what none of us were taught. None of us were taught how to think. We weren't taught how to think because our parents, they'd no idea. They had no idea. So I had to teach myself how to think, which was excruciating at times. Because who said that, Mona? It's excruciating at times because you feel so justified. Your thoughts are like smoking crack every day and then claiming you want relief. No, it doesn't work like that. The thought creates the peptide, goes past the brainstem. Your thinking, when it's manifested physically, is called a feeling. Your thinking, when it manifests physically, is called a feeling. That feeling is taking you on a ride you claim you don't want to go on. So you need to do something about how you're thinking and feeling. Your thinking and feeling in general, mine certainly was 100%, are completely uncurated thoughts, completely uncurated feelings, and you're wondering why you've got Crohn's disease. What the fuck? It's simple. why you've got it. Because you're hammering your immune system with cortisol because you're thinking and feeling and feeling and thinking in such a way that's wrecking you. So what's it like? It's like being on an Airbus 320. You hit a little bit of turbulence. You think, whoops, your body thinks, whoops, something's wrong. Then you look at the air hostess, right? And she's talking to her mate about Tesco. So you're like, hang on a second. There's turbulence. My body thinks there's something really wrong, but I'm looking at the air, so there's nothing wrong. Yeah, that's what we're saying here. The very thing that you think was wrong wasn't. It wasn't. It's because the thought got past, and now you think, oh, it's a bad day. It's not a bad day. You just smoked too much crack. The day is fine. You just need to get out of the day as what you're not. Does that make sense? Because I know I can see a few of you fighting it already. You keep fighting. It doesn't change the fact. It's holography. It's a hologram. When you get on the right side of this, it gets easier. You want it to be easier? You want this to be easier. You want to go out into the world. Okay, got this ayahuasquero. He's deadly. Feathers in his hair, he's in Costa Rica, give him 250 quid a night, I'll be sorted. No, you won't. You won't. Wednesday morning is coming. And when Wednesday morning's coming, guess who wakes up? What you're not wakes up, takes itself to be everything, has your history. Oh, that's my mom and that's my... No. That's the game theory that we're in. And when you start to see this, man, when you start to see it, what you start to broadcast is much different. You can get relief. And the love, by the way, the love, which is just, it's edge stretching me as I'm here. I'm kind of here, but the love it's really strong. Do you feel it? Do you get it? It's good. It's good. And know how you're feeling. Know how you're feeling in your body right now. Know how you're feeling. If it's familiar to you, it's historical. If how you're feeling now is familiar to you, it's historical. Where's your history? Well, 1985. Where's 1985? Where is it? You've never been out of a moment. You've only ever been here. There's no 1985. When it was 1985, you were banging on about 1975. Have you not noticed? There's a pure and holy presence to the moment. This moment. This moment isn't of a time. The body is producing the idea of time. You've never been in time. That's why you produce the idea of being in time. God, light, amplitude-hedrons, polytopes on the edge of fifth dimensional space into 3D, slows down, boom, here we are. Oh, I'm Tommy, good fucking luck with that track. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You're light and information. You're light. Imagine that. Great relief. Yeah, so.
What did you do with your personality? Did you integrate it?
No.
What did you do with it?
Continuously questioned it until it shut up. Yeah. Because I knew I'm going to start broadcasting. If I let this event unpack, that's going to be exactly like what I witnessed in the kitchen in 1985 between my mom and dad. That's going to now unpack and copy and paste between me and Rachel. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing 1985 in 2025 with Rachel. I'm not copying and pasting that which was a difficult thing to traverse in 1985. Now I'm going to be like my dad? No. So something happens with me and Rachel, the trigger comes, one moment please, I'll be back in a minute. I need to have a little chat with fucking El Chapo in my head. I go into the bedroom, say, hey, what the fuck, what are you doing? Well, shut the fuck up. Don't do that. Rule number one is you don't hurt the girl. Why? Because that wasn't your dad's rule. You get it? Rule number 1 is you don't hurt the girl. We don't give a shit what she said, did, bit. No one cares about that. You need to quit it. I'm speaking to the thought, to the energy center, usually the 3rd endocrine center. Yeah, but do. Shut the fuck up. All the way up. We'll wait until you simmer. Okay? Walk back out. There's the girl. What can I do for you? Guess who's not there? My dad. Good. That's what we're aiming for. No therapy, 2 decades of therapy, none of that got me there. None of it. What it did, it said, oh, you probably want to get into the interpersonal dynamic. No, I don't. No, I don't. I did 2 decades of it. It didn't work, and I was really good at it. Some of the therapists I have, one of the therapists that I have is a lady called Barbara Egan. She's one of the first psychotherapists ever in Ireland. She was one of the first people to have ayahuasca in Ireland. She was absolutely amazing person that was involved in all that stuff a long time ago. I had great therapists. I did breath work for 10 years. I did every psychedelic. I smoked this, I shoved that up there, I took the other thing. The fuck? None of it worked. I want my money back. I want my money. I spent a lot. I was like, come on, man. 2017, you want to know what this is? It collapsed and it's been unpacking ever since. And in general, 85% of the time, I feel pretty good. That's all I ever wanted. Just to feel a little bit of relief, just to feel good. 85% of the time, honestly, my life, the way it's unfolding, because I'm not running it. I always thought I was. I never was. But when I understood I never was, then it started to unpack differently.
I have a question. Like, so it happened for you when it was meant to happen. It's not something for everybody else. It's like, we can never decide when we're going to really wake up and see what's happening. So we have the intention to wake up. Always, every single day, something happened. Okay, I want to see the truth. I want to see the truth. You keep asking. So you did that for 20 years. But it only happened in 2017. Is that it? That you've been asking to see the truth and to heal.
I didn't ask to see the truth. I didn't want to see the truth. When I saw the truth in 2017, I didn't ask to see it. It was shown to me by energies a lot smarter than I'll ever be. I was looking for relief all the time. Relief from Tommy, the fire starter, that's complaining about being in the burns unit. It was going in a centrifuge. So I was seeking relief all the time. But the relief was from Tommy. The relief was never going to be as Tommy. That's what we're saying here. And that's the difficult thing for people to get, because people are addicted to that warm overcoat. The warm overcoat that's creating all the problems. Yeah, but it's warm. Well, keep it on you then. Keep it on you. Or else you can take a leap to investigate some of what's being said here. It'll go somewhere. It really will. Your body will hate it. Your body will hate it. Your body will be like, no way, I'm not going. It doesn't want to take the leap. But you can have it now. It's available at all times, right from where you're sitting, without any sort of, you can have it now. But everything that you believe is you historically, it's not so. Your history can't be found. It's only going to be conjured. And by the way, that event that really, really hurt you when you were a kid, at this point, we know that you don't see that the way it happened. So now you're beholden to a childhood wound that didn't even happen. It's happening the way you're saying that it's happened. No, that's not how it happened. That's what happens over the years. But it tries to keep you locked in to the ego, to the so-called inner child. Yeah.
Tommy, tell us about the difference then when we talk about therapy and they talk about the same thing over and over again, to the way that you would do it. That somebody comes to you and they have something that's holding them in this place, since their childhood, and they want to Yeah, they want to let go of it. They want to release it, you know? What way do you work with somebody?
A lot of the people that I've come across over the last while have done the therapy to death, and they're not after getting the relief that they were looking for. So what we do is we identify very cleanly and clearly what aspect of your unconscious personality that's in the body is yapping. When, for instance, the vibration or the frequency or the Wi-Fi signal of lack and scarcity comes from the second endocrine center in the body. In everybody's body, it's like a map. It's 2 inches below your navel. It's 1 inch into the body. There is a neuronal structure of cells in there, a plexus of neurons. That's where the history of lack is in your body. When you feel scarcity and you feel unsafe, that's where it broadcasts from. If you can spot that, now you can spot the usurper in your life. You can spot this scarcity thought. Where is that thought coming from? It's coming from just below your navel. Then you feel it. And then what happens is when you feel it, you start to think it. When you think it, you start to feel it. You feel, think, feel. Feel, think, feel in a loop. But the observer can start to see, hey, what is that? So what I do is I call out the loop. I can hear the loop really, really quickly. I call it out, and then it starts to kind of rebel because it doesn't like being called out. It doesn't like being seen. It claims it wants relief, but it wants relief staying talking about the problem. It's not going to work like that. We have to get rid of when you stop complaining about lack or scarcity, that energy comes back horizontally. It starts to go up, and then you'll open the door at 3. That energy will start to open the door of 4. It'll go up, up, up. When you open the door of 4 and you open it sufficiently enough, you're going to have absolutely no interest in lack. You're going to see it come as a thought, and you're going to go, hey, fucking you jog on. And then anger will show up and go, hey, come on, fucking, you're being a little bit tricky there with Karen. Yeah, John, you fuck off as well. So it's schizophrenia. Right, it's proper schizophrenia up Jacob's ladder in your body. Have you not noticed? It's just banging on about this, and this. And what you've never learned is how to kind of get in front of it and go, no. I'm not doing that. Because you've taken that thought because you feel it to be true. It's not true. It's horseshit. It was horseshit in 1985. It's the same now. If you want to remain beholden to it, keep thinking, feeling, thinking the way you'd like to think and feel, have at it. But don't be banging on like you've got a problem. The only problem you've got is that you can't get in front of your thoughts. That's the only problem you've got. When that starts to calm down, you start to take the energy back and it starts to pop the gates open. Endocrine centers is what I like to call them. Chakras is what the Hindus will call it. But it's the electric body. And when that starts to open up, when you start to feel joy on a Tuesday morning when no one's looking, between the bed and the kettle, the only thing joy wants to do, love wants to do, kindness, wholeness, care wants to do is serve. It wants to give. And when you start to give starts to envelope on itself chemically. And then you start to be a happy person. But you won't be a happy person as Karen. You'll just be a happy thing going around the place. Yeah, that's what's been said, and we kind of understand it. But you gotta stop the shit going horizontal to get it to go vertical. You have to stop complaining. You have to stop looking for help that nobody can give you. No one's coming, lads. No one's coming. At 2 o'clock in the morning when the shit hits the fan, no one's coming. Okay, Tommy, well, how do I stop it? By realizing where it's coming from, by realizing it's a chemical addiction, and that you need to go into a treatment center. And the treatment center that you need to go into is your heart. That's where all the good juice is. We're not saying we're not going to get you on better drugs. We know where the good drugs are. We know where the good drugs are. We want the good shit, the really clean, pure drug. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for high frequency dopamine, serotonins, you're looking for oxytocin. That's what you're looking for. When you are stressed for no reason other than you're walking to the kettle because you take yourself to be Jessica, what happens is you're stressed for no reason, you're full of shit in a very short space of time, you're mulling over what's not happening, you're thinking the world's a fucking awful place and this is, I want to die, and whatever else you're going to do, your, you know, suicidal ideation. That's what Karen will do in 2 usually. When that stuff is going on and you get in front of it and it stops going horizontal, it starts to go vertical, and it starts to go up what's known as Jacob's ladder. It starts to go up, 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 and it starts to open, and you'll start to feel better. When you start to feel better, a community will find you. And then the community, if they know what they're doing, will say, what are you? What are you? What have you got? What do you do? So we have now breathwork facilitators, coaches, cello players, astrologers. If there's an astrologer that's stuck in her second endocrine center, I don't want my birth chart done by you, Karen. If there's an ayahuasquero that's absolutely enraged and thinks, I'll just sexually abuse a few of these here now this evening to get rid of some of that rage, I'm not into it. I'm not into it. So I only want to know and be in the company of people that are doing good work in the world that get what's being said here. Because there's a lot of butcher, baker, candlestick makers out there and they're full of shit. They're still horizontal. They're still in lack. When they're on their own, they're still enraged. They're still in fear. And if you're in fear and lack and rage all day, every day, you shouldn't be working with people because you're not getting it. You're not getting near the peace. You shouldn't be doing it. You need to take it back. Do some work on yourself, which means ending and dissolving what you've taken yourself to be. Does that make sense? Yeah. Sorry, Paulie. Well, you invited me.
I did invite him, yeah. Talk me through the characteristics of the energy centers and what they kind of hold, you know? So the solar plexus, the characteristics of each one.
So, perineum. Perineum, sexual organs, that particular area is really, really good for making babies. It's really, really good for defecation. That's what it's good for. Now, that which is good at defecation does it very well. It has all the equipment. Why would you go and get it to do your end of year accounts? Fear. Why would fear do your end of year accounts? It's good for defecation. That's what it does. These energy centers are amazing. They're brilliant at doing what they're supposed to be doing. They have their job, safety, in the second endocrine center. So fear will broadcast, terror will broadcast from the first endocrine center. That makes sense? The Hindus call it the Muladhara. The Mula Bandha is in there. That perineum, that whole system is a very interesting location. There's a lot of power that can be squeezed from that place to the heart in various different ways via cerebrospinal fluid that molecularly will change as it's squeezed properly. The fear is not a bad thing. It is when it's going out into the world, because it'll create a little skirmish here and a little skirmish there and maybe a religion here and a religion there. It'll create all that horse shit. So it does all of that. So that's what the perineum can do. The second endocrine center, the Hindus call it the Svadhisthana. It's orange, let's say. When you feel safe, when you've got a community, that will be solid. It'll feel nice, it'll feel good, that particular location. So does that make sense? When you feel unsafe and unsure and lack and scarcity, and especially guilt, women, female bodies in guilt, come on, man, lads. Oh yeah, but I feel so guilty. Fucking why? Why? Why do you feel so guilty about every single little thing that has nothing to do with you? Oh yeah, but I just feel so guilty. Stop. Stop feeling guilty. Get that stuff to come back. That's always in your second endocrine center, and it'll be associated with digestive issues and this, that, and the other. That'll all show up there. Then up a little bit further is a really interesting energy center for men. Solar plexus, celiac plexus, plexus meaning the plexus of cells that are in that structure, all anger, rage, frustration. The adrenals are up on top of the kidneys right there. The cortisol, that's where it kind of hoofs through. The sympathetic nervous system is ignited, particularly in that location for fight, flight, freeze. And the one that has been really very interesting to me is fawning. You know, a fawning type of trauma response that people can have to stay safe within a tribe. It's an amazing aspect of the autonomic nervous system. So excessive rage will be in the third endocrine center. That's just the basic sort of characteristics. I have a kind of a map that I did out for myself of all the characteristics, and there's about kind of 50 in the first one, 50 in the second one, and they're just different things that you could identify pretty easily, that's what's going on. So your unconsciousness, your personality structure is in those energy centers, and you don't want to be beholden to that lie. You don't. It's gonna unpack your life in a way that you were hoping for something different. And we know how this works once we can get you to stop thinking, feeling, thinking in fearful, victim. The victim is in 2. And the victim will always find a perpetrator, and the perpetrator's in 3. Most men are in 3, more predators there, more victims in 2. That's how it goes. It's prey, predator prey type of 2-3-3-2 that goes on. They are great energy centers, but when they're dysfunctional, they make your day feel bad, really bad. And we know where the volume control is, we can turn those volumes down, and then what happens is 4 starts to open up. 4 doesn't open up when you go to the right therapist from 2. 4 does not open up by you going to the right therapist from 2. When you bring your problem to the therapist, it doesn't get you to 4. It'll show you the landscape of 2 only. The only way 4 opens up, the oxytocin opens up, the nitric oxide opens up, is when you turn down the volume. You have to turn it down. You can't leave it turned up. It doesn't work like that.
So you're lighting the person back up again. You're kind of clearing these out. You're getting them to do what they're supposed to do, to balance within the person and light them right up.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So a big part of your path, right, was Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
And, you know, your personality used to be incredibly meticulous. It likes details, you know. So your personality kind of brought you to Joe in a sense because you saw this scientific backup, right? You like that.
You gave me the book, Evolve Your Brain, and I read 3 or 4 pages and I threw it against the wall. That's the first introduction I had, and I literally threw it against the wall. It was infuriating to Tommy. So then I was like, hang on, I probably need to have a look at that. And then I kind of started to go on various different quests to see what he was talking about. And Encephalon is his company. There's a few different companies, but they're the only company with the receipts. They're the only company with the receipts and the proof and the stories of transformation that you can clearly see how this works. And everything that I'm saying is said my way, but it's rooted in that understanding. And it's an old Hinduistic understanding. It's not Dr. Joe's. He got it and he wrapped the science on it and then went, okay, now we have the proof that when you do this, and this, over time, you're going to have to do a little bit of, your personality's been very, very consistently switched on, you may have noticed, since you were 3-4 years of age, and that clatter hasn't stopped. This stops it, literally stops it. And the stories of transformation in relation to his work, it's extraordinary stuff that's going on now in terms of, let's say, healing. Let's say a body healing. When it's in a particular electromagnetic field, he generates the electromagnetic field in the room by using information to turn you down. When your heart starts to turn up, then shit starts to get really interesting. Because when your frequency starts to get really high, let's say that visitors will arrive. They arrive. And when they arrive, then you've got a resonance going on that can do an awful lot more than what usually goes on here. Now, it'll hurt in terms of shaking it to the surface, but they can only lower their frequency so much before you have to do the work to allow your frequency to raise. And you don't raise your frequency at these types of events. You just don't lower. Don't let doubt lower. You just keep lowering the volume on your personality, and you'll start to see things in the periphery. You'll start to see them. That gets interesting. That gets really interesting.
You know, you've met, like before when I knew you weren't meditating, right? You were just rocking around. You weren't doing any meditation. Since we've hung out last, you've done a lot of meditation, right?
Yeah.
You've been out there in the field, sitting with the eye mask on. How often do you meditate? 3 or 4 times a day?
I meditate every day since 2016. Yeah.
So meditation is a big part of this work, yeah? You've got to sit down and you've got to look at this stuff, yeah?
Well, you can say meditation is a big part of this work, or you could say that turning Tommy off is a big part of the work.
Okay.
On a consistent basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what you said earlier was, you know, I'm going in as Karen, I'm going in as Jessica, trying to fix the I that isn't there.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
So there is no I, and then you start meditating from that understanding. Yeah?
I don't meditate from that understanding. I stick on an eye mask, I stick on the meditation, and I stick my arse on the couch and I shut the fuck up.
But you're not bringing Tommy into the experience.
No, he's
anymore.
not invited.
Yeah, yeah.
He's not invited.
And I'm interested to know what have you seen in meditation? What have you experienced?
Fuck me. Really?
Yeah, give us one of your gems, you know?
So,
yeah, that one.
So I will have a run of meditations during a period of time known as the Amrit Vela. The Amrit Vela is something that the Sikhs know all about, the Sikh religion. It's 3:30 to 6:30 in the morning, okay? It's a very, very special time. It's a very, very quiet time. There's a lot of activity in the quietness. There's a lot of friends in that location. So I sat down, I meditated, and at that time, 3:30, 4:30, the second wave of tiredness is coming. The second wave of tiredness is producing melatonin at that time at a high clip. It's making me feel really tired. My body wants to go to bed. But I know that there is metabolites that spin off that melatonin. When that melatonin starts to spin off in these metabolites, it starts to turn into dimethyltryptamine. N, dimethyltryptamine broadcasting as an exudate from my pineal gland. at 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. It's size of a grain of rice, back of the brain, whatever, and it is where the visions come in. Now, I wasn't expecting it, little bit shocking, no real interest in this particular being, but this being, or its energy, his energy, had a particular interest in me and let me know that he knew me. And I didn't think he was real until it was me and him at 3:30 in the morning. And then it was real. And it never went back to business as usual after that, because when I had been loving my system in a particular way, his frequency showed up to teach a particular thing. And Yeshua is his name.
He's a nice fella to show up, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Very interesting. You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This room's changing, eh? Don't talk it out of the room, Paulie.
Yeah, leave it.
What a teacher.
Special energy, all right.
Do you hear those breaths? That's the teacher entering into that human being's heart. That's happening right now. Yeah, so.
We're coming up to a little break, yeah? Probably a good time.
Is it? Fucking dance time, I'm staying in this.
So we'll take a little break and then we'll have your questions.